Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with John LaMancuso, CEO of K1X, an AI powered platform revolutionizing tax data automation for alternative investments. Recognized by Fast Company as one of the most innovative companies of 2025, K1X has become the industry standard for automating K1s, 1099s, and 990s, trusted by more than 40,000 organizations, including top investors, accounting firms, foundations, and health systems. Under John's leadership, K1X is helping firms slash manual processes, restore valuable time, and empower professionals to focus on higher value work, bringing precision and transparency to historically a complex sector. In today's conversation, we'll explore how K1X is reframing the role of automation in tax compliance, why empowering professionals with structured data is reducing rework and headaches for clients, and how firms are rethinking capacity planning by leaning into AI at scale. So, thank you for joining us today, John.
Thank you for having me, Alicia.
Oh, yeah, it's great to have you here. K1X was recently recognized by one of Fast Company's most innovative companies, like I mentioned in the introduction. So, congratulations, by the way.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
Yep. Thank you.
Can you share what you think sets K1X apart and what the recognition means for your team?
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a massive accomplishment, first of all. So thank you for recognizing that. And we thank Fast Company as well. First of all, we're solving a really massive, ugly problem. For your audience that is familiar with a K1 or those that are not, a K1 is one of the last tax documents that is still in an analog mode.
Hmm.
Most of the other documents that we receive, like W-2s, 1099s, et cetera, are already digitized,
Yeah.
but not the nefarious K-1. It's a very lengthy, ugly text document. In fact, the IRS reported that there were 45 million K-1s that they received in tax year 2022. So it's a big problem. There's a lot of K-1s floating around, and they need to be put into a tax return. And that's what our flagship product, K-1 Aggregator, does using our patented AI technology. And so we use large language data science that's approximately 8 years old. This is before chat became cool over a
Hmm.
few years ago. And we have an 8-year-old, very educated large language model that reads all the unstructured data in
Oh,
a K1. So the face page is fairly easy. Looks like a W-2 or 1099. It's got structured data in nice little boxes. However, everything after that first page sometimes could get up to 700 pages of unstructured footnotes, white pages at the federal, state, and international levels. And so we're using our AI technology to read the actual K1 and then move it into our software where it gets aggregated and then moves into a tax return.
hmm.
And so our technology is really helping tax professionals have a better quality of life. And I think that's one of the reasons Fast Company noted us this year. K1 typically takes several hours to review, understand, and then put into a spreadsheet.
Hmm.
And that's the typical model that we're replacing. But now our technology reduces that to fractions of a minute. So
Wow.
instead of spending hours, we can read a fairly sizable K1 using artificial intelligence in about 11 seconds. And this has allowed our company to grow at about 60% compounded annual growth rate since inception about 3.5 years ago, which is pretty rare air, as you're well aware. So I
Yeah.
think all of these contributed to why Fast Company gave us the recognition in 2025.
That's amazing. I kind of want to talk about the Aggregator Plus for a second. You walked us through a little bit about what it does, especially in automation and whatever, but can you give us a little bit more details about how automating both K1 and 1099 data extractions work and why that is such a game changer besides maybe the time, or is the time basically it in terms of managing scale and complexity.
Yeah, yes, for sure. It's not only the time consumption that we're helping out with, but it's the accuracy factor as well. If you think about what we're replacing, it's typically taking multiple K1s and entering them into these labyrinthian spreadsheets. So when you're taking data and rekeying it into Excel, the probability of creating an error is very high. And so it's not only time efficient, it's more accurate. But then thirdly, it also enables the tax professional now to go focus on everything that we really want our tax professionals doing for us. And that's making sure we're paying the right taxes. If you're like me, you don't mind paying taxes, you want to make sure that they're right and you're
Yeah.
not overpaying taxes. And that's what we want our tax professionals doing.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah. The accuracy and the time would be huge on its own. I can't even imagine that. But what can you say about hallucinations with AI hallucinations? Is that a problem or do you have a special solution for that?
Yeah, because we're not using a chat GBT
Mm.
empowered reading solution, but instead we're using our own proprietary large language data environment. We're actually using our own solutions to read the K1, create the intelligence of the reader, and then applying that to new K1s that get ingested into our technology. So we're not using anything off the street that could suffer from a hallucination.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that we have to be cautious of is a different formatted type K1.
Mm.
And once that new formatted K1 is ingested into our reader, the intelligence takes over. And the next time it sees that type of K1, it's got the history stored and it knows how to read the new format.
Oh,
So we don't really have to worry about that.
that's amazing. That's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big time savings, expense savings, and helps to focus on the core things that a tax professional should focus on.
And gives you peace of mind that you know it is accurate and it's not making up stuff or whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
And some of your case studies show like 80% manual data entry is eliminated and 66% cycle time reduction by using your program. Can you share a specific example where automation reduced the burnout and let professionals focus on that higher value work?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the K1 aggregator product reads not only the federal level data, but it also reads state level data.
Okay.
And if you get a K1 in which the investor that you're investing with is in multiple states, it's very possible that you could have up to 42 state level pieces of data that have to go into your tax return.
Yeah.
And so, one of the best examples of where our technology really excels in getting away from that grunt work that tax professionals actually despise, they'd rather be focused on how do I add value to my customer, not doing this data entry, rekeying of data work. And so when our technology reads a K1, it looks at all the various potential state pieces of data, it loads it into our software where it can be reviewed, verified, and then put into a tax return. And by the way, we built APIs into the top tax softwares,
Hmm.
so that's a seamless process as well. However, after we've reviewed and read all the various state level pieces of data, this is where our software really excels. It gives the tax professional the ability to look at state, local, and international taxes. And it allows the tax professional now to actually make a determination of whether or not their client should be paying in Alabama and Arkansas or just the one state, or should it be New York versus California, or should it be a combination of both? Never in a spreadsheet would a tax professional have that capability.
Yeah.
But once it gets loaded into our software, the agentic AI allows the tax professional to actually see where state tax data is being potentially paid and therefore make adjustments in the future. So
Wow.
that's one example of where it just not only eliminates the manual entry, it also reduces that potential burnout and turns the tax professional into an advisor.
That is actually really empowering, I imagine, for the tax professional. What do you say to those people that think that AI is just going to take their job and it's going to be a job loss massacre kind of?
Yeah, yeah, I get that question quite often, quite honestly, Alicia. And I think we're actually asking ourselves the wrong question here.
Okay.
I think the question isn't, will AI replace tax professionals? But I think instead is, will tax professionals who use AI replace those who don't?
Oh, yeah.
Every day I meet tax professionals who just love the work that they do. They love engaging with clients. They love looking for alternative ways of lowering someone's taxable rate. What they don't like, as I mentioned earlier, is that tactical low value grunt work.
Yes.
They'd rather spend time with clients determining how they can pay less taxes, but most of our clients prior to using our technology didn't have the tools to do. And as I explained, our technology allows clients to focus on that meaningful work, like the example I gave you with the state tax withholding. And this creates a lot of job satisfaction by elevating the value of the tax professional to their client and to their firm. And so we like the phrase elevate versus eliminate.
Yes. And it's like you said, it's the fun work that they get to do, and then the AI can do all the grunt work. That's amazing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
One of the themes in your work is the downstream benefits of structured, clean data. How does that reduce work and speed up reviews and improve the client experience overall?
Yeah, that's a great point that you're mentioning. We like the saying that our technology is built by tax professionals for tax professionals. When we created our solutions, we didn't put a bunch of really smart engineers in a room and said, here's a problem, go fix it.
Yeah.
But rather, we brought together some of the best tax professionals in the United States. And we said, how do we solve this problem technically? And so when you have clean, structured data that allows tax professionals to perform their magic in our software, and if you have clean data that's organized by how tax professionals do their work, that's when they're really hitting their stride as a tax professional. If the data is clean, it's organized in the manner in which you normally do your manual functions, but now it's automated. And that's how the efficiencies are gained. So, steps in the process like data verification, reviewing of the data, prior year analysis. Perhaps sometimes you have to update the cost bases from prior years, or that state data comparison I talked about, all become very easy when you have clean data organized like a tax professional would do their work manually, but now you have it in a digitized, automated fashion.
Mm.
So clean, organized data really allows tax professionals to really hit their stride.
That's so empowering and just innovative, I think. It just, I can't believe it hasn't been done before, but now I guess we need it with AI. So,
It's it's a yeah, it's a complicated problem. It's a hard problem to solve.
yeah,
And that's why we're the only ones doing it using AI, reading unstructured data. And that's what our patent that we have in-house is all about.
that's amazing. And as we look ahead, how are firms rethinking capacity planning, and where do you see AI and automation playing the biggest role in scaling consistently?
Yeah, that's a question that many of our clients ask once they get our technology. And that's because CPA firms live in a very competitive environment.
Mm.
The market each year is finite in terms of the tax work that needs to be done. It's not like in a particular tax year that there's going to be an increase in more companies that need their taxes done. Perhaps the next year, but for example, the filings that were done in 2025 are for the companies that needed to be filed from 24. The 24 data is filed in calendar year 25. So it's finite. Therefore, firms are looking for a competitive edge on how to bring on new clients, and new clients require capacity. The old way that CPA firms used to tackle this is that they used to go recruit thousands and thousands of future CPA tax professionals from the college campuses. And that lifeline and that flow of talent has really dried up. And that's because the kids coming out of school today really don't want to do that grunt work anymore. They want to do the advisory work, the consulting work around the CPA community. So our technology now allows the clients to do more work, therefore bringing on more new clients. And our technology actually allows our clients to use a technology that their clients are demanding.
Wow.
Clients are demanding artificial intelligence be used as part of their tax return process. Most of our CPA firm clients will say, my clients are looking for this, so I
Hmm.
need this tool. I need to be able to use AI to generate better process efficiencies, increased accuracy, and reduce the time so I can bring on more work.
Nice. I love that. And for someone who's just starting out in fintech or tax technology, what advice would you give them on navigating this complex but critical industry?
It is. It's very complex. The tax code gets more complex every single year. The IRS doesn't sleep. They figure out new ways of creating new procedures for our taxes, and the states as well. And so, for those that are thinking about automating in the financial tax technology space, first, I recommend make sure that the problem that you're solving is significant. As I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, there's 45 million K-1s
Yeah.
that the IRS received in tax year 22. That means that there's 45 million that have to be created as well. And we also have a product that creates K1. So now you're at 90 million K1s. 45 million that have to be created, 45 million that have to be read. So that's a significant total addressable market. So my first piece of advice is make sure that the technology that you're creating is solving a big problem. You don't want to spend a lot of time in a small market chasing foul balls and
Yeah.
spending a lot of resources developing applications that don't have broad appeal. That's number one. Number two is experts from your industry must be involved in product design. Like
Hmm.
I said, we had tax professionals creating tax technology. Don't let the software engineers be at the front of the process. Make sure that you're innovating the right methods to solve the problem, then hand the work off to the really great, smart software engineers to go do the work. The real problem solving needs to be done by the experts.
Yeah.
Thirdly, I would say include your clients in the development of your technology.
Hmm.
We did. All of our products, all three of our products were guided through their development phase by our clients. And they have the greatest input. They know how they want to use the application. They know how to transform from a manual spreadsheet process, perhaps, and they can give you amazing insights. And then lastly, I would say have a very measured, executable roadmap. This will earn the trust of your existing, very new clients, and it'll also satisfy the requirements of the clients that you bring on in the future down the road. Those are my four pieces of advice, constantly innovating on the last one to make sure you have a good product roadmap.
Yeah. That's such important advice. I'm sure a lot of people listening are going to take that to heart because it's such important and valuable advice. And before we wrap up, when you do step away from your work, what are some activities or hobbies you're passionate about?
I'm so passionate about the work that we're solving at
Yeah.
K-1 Exits. So there's very little time to do that. But when I do have time, I love staying active, working out, Alicia. I love
Mhm.
traveling, spending time with my family, and probably most importantly, watching my beloved Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yeah.
So go Bills.
Nice. I love that. John, thank you so much for sharing your insights on the future of AI and tax compliance and the journey of building K1X into such an impactful platform. It's such an insightful conversation, and I know our audience is going to find this helpful. There's just a lot of good nuggets in here. So thank you so much again for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And for anyone who wants to learn more, they can visit your website at k1x.io. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.